we're going, we're live and ready here. So I appreciate you, Anne, taking this time to answer a few questions, and hopefully we'll get to know a little bit more about you, and the workerscompensation.com audience will learn a little bit more about who Anne Stanco is, and your path to this, part of the workers' comp world. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the questions here. And I just had them up a minute ago, but now I've dropped them. So let me find
Sure.
that again. All right, here we go. So just, to start off, uh,
All right.
just curious, what's your career path been? Like, how has it brought you into workers' comp? I've noticed a lot of people like myself and others, they don't start out when they're in, school saying what they want to be when they grow up as being something in workers' comp, but a path brings them there, and then they turn out to be, it's a rewarding sort of space, and it's interesting and all that. So I'm interested to know, kind of how you got into this space.
Sure. My career path began in clinical practice as a physical therapist with a wide variety of patient populations and clinical settings, including adult and pediatric ICU, inpatient care, acute rehab, and outpatient care. And over time, I transitioned into academia and research, earning a PhD in cell biology and anatomy. And that expanded my interest in evidence based practice and clinical education. And after moving into roles in Medicare fraud investigation and utilization management, I gained deep insight into payment policy, regulatory compliance, and value based care. My entry into the workers' compensation space came through consulting work, which quickly led to a full time role with a workers' comp insurance company. There, I developed some innovative medical content tools to support claims adjusters and improve condition specific claims management. This path reflected a steady evolution from direct patient care to systemic innovation, all grounded in a commitment to improving care quality, processes, and outcomes.
That's interesting. Hold on, there's something that I was looking at the transcript here, something that said the condition-specific claims management. Uh, just when what speak a little bit more on that, like what was involved in that in your career.
Sure. A lot of claims adjusters have legal and investigative knowledge, but they have some knowledge gaps in medical um, areas. So we created a number of tools that were condition specific. So a claims tool on rotator cuff injury or ACL reconstruction or um, intervertebral disc injury. And each of those tools then allowed the adjuster to have knowledge on each of the conditions. So it's condition specific to allow them more information where critical mistakes might have previously been made.
Okay, well, that's great.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the most important lessons you've learned throughout your career? And, based on those lessons, what would you say is most relevant to stakeholders in workers' compensation, employers, injured workers, and the like?
Sure. One key lesson is that effective communication between clinical and non-clinical staff and stakeholders is critical, especially when navigating medical necessity, care planning, and claim settlement. I've learned how knowledge gaps, misunderstandings, or unclear goals can really compromise care decisions, delay recovery, particularly in systems like workers' comp, where decisions hinge on clarity and on objective data. Another lesson is the value of seeing the full continuum of care or looking at the claim in its entirety, really understanding what happens before, during, and after a treatment request or a claim is essential for designing processes and tools that support better outcomes. These lessons have really guided me in developing scalable content and education for claims adjusters with a focus on usability, accuracy, and patient recovery.
Yeah. What would you say motivates you at work?
I'm really motivated by opportunities to build systems that help others succeed, whether that's developing educational tools for claims professionals or improving provider documentation or contributing to fair evidence-based utilization decisions. I thrive in environments that encourage creativity, continuous improvement, and collaboration across teams, helping bridge gaps between providers, payers, and support staff to advance value-based care is especially rewarding.
Yeah, and it certainly, to me, what struck me early on is kind of your background and your path has really shown that. It's just an observation on my part that you're able to, pick up these pieces as you've gone along and kind of get everyone sort of on the same page in the spirit of education and learning. So that's something that definitely jumps out. In terms of, professional development, what is something that you would say is the most important thing that, if you could go back and tell your younger self about professional development, career growth, that kind of thing?
I would tell my younger self not to fear a nonlinear career path. Each seemingly unrelated experience, whether teaching cadaver dissection in the gross anatomy lab, reviewing therapy documentation, or investigating Medicare fraud, has really contributed to a broader perspective that's now one of my greatest professional strengths. I'd also emphasize the importance of networking, mentorship, and staying open to possibilities and opportunities that seem outside of your planned trajectory, but align with your core interests and your values.
Yeah, wow, that's great advice for, I mean, pretty much anywhere along the way, kind of that willingness to pivot. I think, is kind of the word that popped up in the pandemic, but those kind of
Yeah.
skills will serve you if you're just starting out or, well into your career. That's great advice. And then what would you hope that your teammates say about you when someone says, "Hey, tell us about Anne"? What would you hope that they would say?
I would hope they would say Anne is the person you want on your team when you're trying to solve a problem. I hope they recognize me as someone who brings both deep clinical expertise and strategic thinking, who's collaborative, thoughtful, curious, and committed to digging deeper and learning more. I also hope they say I'm generous with my knowledge and my time, and that I'm a reliable, trusted resource who has creativity, curiosity, and brings calm to every project.
Always a good thing. Well, I can definitely attest to the fact that you're generous with your knowledge as you're sharing your experts analysis columns with us. I've got one that you sent in today, so I'm working through that and looking forward to getting that going. We've got a whole series coming that you've put together with your knowledge, and you're very generous with that and your time. You've been very good with us and working around my schedule, our schedule, so I appreciate that. What else? Is there anything else that if anyone out there in the workers' comp industry is watching this or reading this, if there's anything else that you want to share about, your career path, your journey, with anything like that? Is there anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah. I guess I feel that we are living in unique times. There's so much development, so many medical advancements, research advancements, certainly technological advancements with AI. Um, it's important for all of us to see new ways to create, to develop, to be open to new ideas. And I'm certainly trying to apply that advice as I search for new ways to do things in the workers' comp field, certainly professionally, and in my own career development.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we appreciate it, Anne. That's pretty much what we were going to cover today. Thank you again for your time, and look forward to working with you some more on this writing project that we've got going.
Sounds great.
All
Let
right.
me
Well,
know
thanks so
if,
much.
yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah,
let me
go
know
ahead.
if the if anything needs to be redone or edited, or I can
Oh,
um,
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm
go
gonna
around
take a
to.
look at it. I, kind of just peeked at it this morning and, I'll
Sure.
get in there. I'm looking forward to it. This is exciting. So I
Good.
appreciate it, Dan. Thanks so much.
You bet. Take
All
care.
right. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, Frank.